Hi, I'm Jackie Curtis. I'm an artist in Dorset, and I know that several of you have asked if I can give you more detail on how I do an oil transfer. You can use an oil transfer in many different ways and onto different surfaces. I tend to use them in two different ways. The first is that I use them directly onto the collage. So it could be a collage surface with a quite complex collage, and I want something to overlay. I'm going to show you a fairly simple piece. You can see this. Here you can see that I've actually overlaid the final collage with some branches and a few small plants. Some of them are hand painted, but a lot of the branches are actually oil transfers. It's fine to use oil transfer on a simple piece like this, on a small stretched canvas, but as you have to press quite hard, it can be quite difficult if you use a large canvas. So that's why I tend to work on canvas off the roll for large pieces if I'm going to use oil transfers. The second way you can use it is to actually put the oil transfer directly onto your gel print or whatever paper that you're using for your collage. And in this case, in this picture I'm going to show you next, the branches are actually just one branch. I've changed the size and I've flipped it so it looks like different branches, and I've used them coming in from different angles. But what I've done here is actually I've put those oil transfers directly onto jelly prints, and then I've collaged with those jelly prints. If you see in this picture, you can see the various branches and the flowers, and where the flowers are, I've hand coloured those with inks afterwards. So this is two different ways in which you can use oil transfers in collage. What I'd like to do now is show you how you do it. It is so simple, and it's a fun thing that you can use in lots of different types of art. One of the things I would like to mention is how I learned to do it, and that was from this book, which is by Nitsa Malik. It's available on Amazon. She has a Facebook page, and she also has a very good video channel on YouTube. But if you read this, although it says it's about photography, it's actually about transfers. And I would highly recommend that any of you who want to get into transfers in detail, that you look at her channel or buy her book. Right, now it's a very, very simple procedure. So you need whatever you're going to put your transfer onto, be it wood or plastic or glass, or in this case it's a jelly print, which is because that's how I use them. You need either some Q-tips or a cotton wool pad and some oil. Now, sorry, you can use all sorts of things to do a transfer. Most spirit type thinners will create a transfer, acetone, there's a whole gambit of cleaning products and other things that will successfully do a transfer. But I don't like working with chemicals, and in this space at the moment we've got snow outside and it's pretty cold, and I don't want the windows open. So we're looking to have something that is pleasant to work with, and so I use an essential oil. This is tea tree oil, but you can use any sort. Lavender, I just bought a 150ml bottle of lavender oil on eBay. I think it was £9.50. Well, that will last me months. And so I prefer to use essential oils. There's also another benefit of using essential oils rather than a chemical in that thinners and that type of product evaporate very, very quickly, and you often have to keep reapplying more to the area you're working on to get a successful transfer. The oil stays on the paper for much longer and is much easier in my book to work with, as well as the fact it's quite pleasant and you haven't got any chemicals. Now, here I have a laser print off my, it's a LaserJet Pro M15W is the laser printer I have, which is the one recommended by Nitsa Malik, and I've got the original toner that came in the box. I'm very pleased with it, and I've had some great transfers from it. This is just a branch, which is nice and simple and clear to show you. And what we're going to do first is adhere with some tape our gel print to the table. I'm also going to then stick one side of the transfer or the print to the table so I can pick it up. If we lay it on just here, I think I'll tape it on the left. This is just masking tape, and I use it, reuse it and reuse it, because the less sticky it is, the better. So here I can pick up the side of the transfer and see how it's going and put it back down again. It's just on ordinary copy paper, and I'm transferring onto carnival paper, which is my tissue of choice for doing collage. Now today I'm going to use a cotton wool pad. I normally use Q-tips, but I thought I would see how this goes today. Put a little bit of essential oil on. Now you don't need too much, so let it soak into the cotton wool. And start working at one end, so you can quickly rub it over, and you can see just how quickly the tree appears through the paper. Now, I'm using this plastic tool which came in a card kit I had years ago, so you can clearly see the tree through where the oil has saturated the surface. Now what we're going to do is rub quite hard. I'm using this plastic tool, but you can use the handle of a spoon, anything that's smooth, hard and won't damage your paper. I start from one end and I work all over the image. If it goes a bit blurry, don't worry about it, because it won't be blurry underneath, it'll be absolutely fine. And you can also use, I don't know what they're called, but they're like a metal tool with a round ball on the end. I think they're used in card making, but you can use a pencil or anything, as long as it doesn't go through the paper. You can use anything you wish to draw on the back of the image. That will give you a more drawing type result, as though it's been hand drawn. You don't have to rub off all of the print, as I am here. You can do this very nicely with old photographs. If you've got family photos, you can use this over a coloured gel print and produce a really nice piece of work. You can also then hand colour it if you wanted to. I do use my own drawings, plans and previous bits of work. I will plan out a piece of work and decide what oil prints I might use, what oil transfers I might use in that piece of work. Now, you can take images from the internet, but you have to take into account copyright. So you have to make sure they're copyright free. because you are not really substantially changing them. So it's better wherever you can to use your own work. Now, if we lift up the paper, you can see magic where the transfer has come onto the gel print. And you can put it back, hence why we tape down one side so we know it goes back in exactly the same position. And you can see, using the essential oil, I get a really clear print. Definitely my favourite way of working. Just going to add a little bit more oil. You can see we've got the rest of the tree. Any areas where you're not quite sure if you've got it all, check and then just rub a little bit more oil over the top and then rub again. Don't use too much. If you use too much oil, it will go bleary. I might have got it a bit thick there, so we'll have a look in a moment. And the great thing with using oil rather than any sort of spirit is that you can walk away from it, leave it for 10 minutes, come back, and usually the oil is still workable. If you're going to use a photograph of a city or a town or people, whatever it is, you need to look at the photograph and decide if you can get a really good, crisp, black and white image. The best results are when you have high contrast and a lot of detail, a lot of black and white images. Now, if you look at this carefully, you can see it is a little bit blurry on this bottom corner here, and that's because there was a little bit too much oil. But I like this more painterly look. I mean, if you wanted it an exact copy, you'd just use the photocopy. This method gives a much more hand-printed or painterly look to the work. And I don't mind the blurriness and the bits and pieces, as I don't mind the creases and imperfections in my gel plates. So here we are. I think you can see what a simple process that is, and it's already dry. It dries very, very quickly. So this is an oil transfer, so simple. Hope you've enjoyed seeing it, and you should all be able to do this. Tape your paper down, work onto a smooth surface, laser print, and you can also use a Zerox copy. Anything that is toner based. You cannot use an inkjet printer, not for this method. And so onto just cheap copy paper, face down, oil over the back, very lightly, and rub with something hard. It can't be simpler really, and anybody can do this. Often I will do quite detailed flowers on top of a collage, and then you can hand colour them with ink, and they look really beautiful. Just doing a jelly print with hand coloured flowers is really stunning, and it can be, you know, a piece of work in itself. Here, for instance, are some gel prints that I've finished, which are transfers with hand printed flowers. I like to try and get, you can't probably see this on the camera, but this has a gold and green sheen to it, like Chinese silk. And I like that sort of work. So there we go. Enjoy. I hope you've liked it. And if you have, it would be lovely. I've just started this channel. If you would subscribe, and any comments or questions you've got, please ask. I will get back to you. I might take a day or two sometimes, but I will always get back to you. Thank you.